This video is to explain and deconstruct your first assessment task, which is a book review for the novel that you have just read in class. So your task sheet states all of your conditions. The final copy is due in week 6 and your draft will be due, if you want a draft checked, in week 5 sometime. The length for this is approximately 500 to 600 words and you can only submit one draft to get feedback on. So your task details are explained on the inside of your task sheet. You've been reading a novel in class in which we would have discussed some of the plot, characters, themes and setting stuff, and that's also in the booklet that you were given at the start of the term. So what you need to do for your first task is to construct a book review of the novel. So here's the things that need to be included. You need an introduction, which will include the title and the author. You also need to mention the publisher, so that's the company that has decided to print and publish the book, and also just an approximate price for the book. You also need to have an angle or a general opinionative comment, and that's basically whether yes, you liked the book or no, you didn't. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it average? What's your general opinion on it? And that's what you're going to be referring to throughout your book review. You also need to have then a brief plot analysis, and you never reveal the ending of a book in a review, otherwise there's no purpose of the person going and then reading that book. You'll also then have a paragraph on themes, characters and setting. At the end you'll have a little conclusion and talk about how successful the novel was in engaging readers. So that's what your opinionative statement will be on, is how well it engaged your readers and whether it was a worthwhile read. So the scaffold is also included in your task sheet, and it is fairly detailed what needs to be included and also how long each of those paragraphs should be. So approximately each paragraph should be about 80 to 100 words, and that will get you your 500 to 600 words. Not every paragraph might hit 80, but maybe other paragraphs will be bigger, maybe they'll be 100 or 120 words. Okay, so it'll all average out. As long as your content is covered, that's listed here, you should be fine. So refer to this when you're writing your draft. It's very clear what needs to be included in each section. And it also reminds you to link all of your paragraphs and to also be linking back to your thesis. Now, when we say thesis, that's referring to this section here, whether the book was worthwhile or not, or whether the book was engaging or not. So did you think, yes, it was a good read, or no, you were not impressed with it? Okay, and so then everything in here, when you talk about plot, characters, setting and theme, will reflect that thesis. So you just need to make sure that it's consistent throughout. So if you're unsure what a book review is a form of literary criticism in which a book is analysed, so there's your word there, based on content, style and merit. A book review can be a primary source opinion piece, summary review or scholarly review. Books can be reviewed for printed periodicals, magazines and newspapers as schoolwork, or for book websites on the internet. So normally a book review is something people are reading more for leisure, so it needs to be an engaging piece of writing, and people are looking for the truth and an opinion on something, so you need to have lots of opinionated language in there. So you also have then your writing style guide included in your task sheet, which gives you an idea of the type of things that need to go in a review. It's all the things that we've basically talked about. What we haven't talked about so far is using key quotes. So you need to use some quotes from the book to help support what you're saying. So if you're talking about maybe the setting, you might find a nice quote from the novel that describes part of the setting or that supports the argument that you're talking about. You also need to write in columns. That's the formatting of it, and your headline will be nice and big, and normally you put maybe a picture of the book or the author in there with it.